Welcome back to episode 9 of Everything ETFs. And today, Brad and I are talking about bad influencing. I'm one of your hosts, Spencer Invest. I'm going to throw it to you, Brad.
Man, this is going to be a good one. Lots to talk about this weekend.
So much to talk about. And I think it's really important that we discuss it as content creators. I always say I hate the term influencer. I do not consider myself an influencer. I create content on specific things. I'm not showcasing my life or any, specific details besides, of course, what I'm investing in and how I'm doing it. But it's a dangerous thing. You have legal issues. You have a bunch of sometimes new investors that are taking bad advice from people that have large audiences simply because they have large audiences. And so I guess we'll talk about what happened this weekend. And I decided I'm not going to name names. If people find out in the comments, they find out in the comments. Yeah, go ahead.
We should just say this came off of Twitter, and then
Yes.
there was a YouTube posted about it, but it started on Twitter. At
And it
least
has nothing. Yes,
that's where
I
I saw
agree.
it.
Yes. And it has nothing to do with Brad and I. We're just in this space of content creation, which is how we even found out about it. The individual who did it actually does have me blocked. So I could only see it via a link that was shared. I can't just go on and look because I'm blocked on everything, which is fine. Doesn't bother me one bit. But what happened is a creator put out a video where they broke down how much money these ETF issuers, the individual people within the industry, right? The CEOs, CIOs, fund managers, how much money they actually have in their own funds. And I think it's an interesting idea for a video. For one, there are some flaws with it. And I'm curious what you think about this, Brad, because I see it as being a flaw where if they're only an income issuer, but the person has a lot of money in growth and they enjoy growth, but they're good at income, right? Like, that's fine with me. If you work at an income ETF as an income ETF issuer, but you don't live off your income, they're still working. Why would they have to hold solely their funds? I'm curious what you think, Brad.
So I've asked Howard from Kurv. He'll tell you he eats his cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, literally, that's where the whole conversation, eat your cooking, that's where it started with,
Mm-hmm.
was with Howard. I've asked Neos directly, and they tell you. The problem that you get into is they used a source that at least the people that have been out on X for a while,
Mm-hmm.
we know that source is a source, but it's always backdated, it's old, it's not updated. It only updates once a year. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we know the data is flawed
Yep.
at best.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I get it. I think the biggest one for me is they called out a fund manager, and the fund manager, one, I literally have seen that fund manager post his buys.
Yes.
So it's like, no, no.
Yes.
But the fund manager pointed out that he literally had the wrong name, the wrong person.
Yes. And I guess we can disclose the fund manager, right? You think there's any harm in that?
I think that we just will say
Keep
no.
it under wraps
Yeah. I mean, they can go follow my X or your
and go and
X,
mine and go see. I guess that's a good
right?
point.
We're going to link our X's down below so you can follow some of these conversations,
Yes.
right? But yes, we saw. I mean, because I said this is not gonna end well. I mean,
At
that's
all. Yes. And
you
it's
know,
interesting. We get tied into it because we've had this fund manager. Is he the manager? I don't even know his CIO. I don't even know his position, but we've had him on our channels. And I will say the main ETF from this issuer is down pretty substantially in the last couple of months for a number of reasons. We won't get into it, won't give out too many details, but it was just pretty bad because this manager is on X all the time. That's how I've
yeah.
communicated with him. It's how a
Mhm.
lot of people are communicating with him, and he has a good following. I want to say he had like 18,000 followers, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, and he's actually a nice guy,
Very
right? I
nice
mean,
guy.
he's
12,000.
12,000. Yeah. So he's a
Yeah.
nice guy. He's I'm literally sending him an email this afternoon, tomorrow. He's going to come back onto the channel. We're going to discuss his 4 new funds that he just came out with. But if you're going, I think the biggest one is when you're told that you're wrong and evidence is given to you by the fund manager that, hey, you're a little bit off
Mhm.
on the numbers. Well, either you take down the video or take down your post.
Mhm.
I trust me, there's been one other time that somebody pointed something out that I took down the video,
Me too.
right? You
It's
know,
what you do. Yeah.
it's it's not that you make mistakes, it's how you handle the mistakes.
Yes, 100%, because we're all gonna make mistakes, and that's the thing. Like, for I'm a retail investor who has a 9 to 5 job. I am extremely busy, so when I do my research, I try to do it efficiently, but I have to do it quickly. I don't have 5 hours a day to research for a video, and so it does. You have to be careful, you have to check your sources, but whenever someone points out something I do wrong, I have videos where I've pinned comments saying, "This is wrong. Here's why." I put it in the description. I'll re-upload it. I'll trim that portion of the video out because YouTube allows you to do that. They have editing tools that you can use to
Yeah,
remove that
dude, I
portion.
haven't been able to figure that one out myself.
I'll have to show you.
Maybe that's that old age thing coming in.
I'll have to show you. There are ways you can do it. Um,
Yes.
But it is. It's frustrating. You put all your work into a video, you do, you think you've done really good due diligence and you know what you're talking about, and then someone's like, this is completely wrong. And you're like, yep, it is. You fact check it. But the hard part for me is I mean, and I'm sure you've been the same, Brad. We've made corrections on videos from just commenters who we don't know, right? Because you're like, oh no,
Mhm.
they told me, we double checked, we were wrong. This is the actual person, the fund manager for this ETF, talking about how much of it he owns. And a YouTuber with an unreliable source is arguing with him, saying, "Well, that's not what this says. That's not what this says." And he's posting his proof in the comments, like, "No, this look, here's my last buy. Here's all my disclosures for taxes." Like,
And he also argued with a CEO of a different fund on X. And you just sit back and go, dude, that's not how you build a brand. That's not
no.
how you build, I try not to talk too bad about funds and people. I roll my eyes because it comes out because you got to point this stuff out at different times. You can only go so long without saying something.
Mhm.
But, I mean, I think we all agree that, as an influencer and the influencing at YouTube,
Mhm.
we're going to transition into YouTube, right?
Mhm.
YouTube is changing. We know,
Drastically.
we know YouTube is changing. You're now part of, I'm going to say the YouTube union. I think, I think that's what we called ourselves, right? you know, uh, we're actually we're multiple influencers are together discussing different aspects of YouTube and X and everything else involved in this. And it's not uncommon, or there's tons of videos recently that our revenue is cut in half,
Mhm.
pretty much. Right?
Yep.
There's 12 million YouTube channels that have been taken down,
Yes.
demonetized.
Mhm.
12 million.
Mhm.
And you sit back and go, how do you stay, you know, let's face it, ad revenue was the gateway drug,
It is.
right? You never get rich off of it, but you never go poor.
And you never control it. That's the part that kills me, no matter how many deals you do, no matter what you're working on. And that's what's interesting with, full-time content creation, which our backgrounds are different. You worked for a long time.
Mhm.
I still work. There's a lot of creators that don't have jobs, that their job is content creation, if you believe that is a real job. Some people are staunchly against it, but that's the interesting part is, you don't have a lot of control outside of the ad deals that you're doing. And I've seen, I'll talk about it. I'm relatively open with the money that comes in from YouTube and what's happening on my channel. But yeah, I've seen a pullback of over 60, 70% in my ad revenue alone. And there's a number of factors that play into that. And I'm definitely not complaining. Making money doing your hobby is amazing. It really is.
Yes.
We love
Yeah.
this. And that's the
Yeah.
thing is, but I think part of that for me specifically is I don't depend on this for my living. Whereas if you're a creator who does, and all of a sudden your AdSense drops by half and you're not able to pay the bills anymore, it sucks and you don't like it anymore, right? Like for me, I'm like, it's extra income regardless. And I'm grateful and I'm very blessed. And I know, Brad, we've talked about this over and over and over again, how blessed we are in this space to be
That's
able to
right.
do our hobby and make money.
It just offsets my withdrawals.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still making withdrawals, but it just offsets some of the withdrawals. And it's, I got into it because I wanted something to do. Right. I did not want to just retire and have nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll make a YouTube video. And I was only expecting 1,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's grown. And there's been some certain benefits about growing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, I said this before, my circle group. I didn't know any of these fund managers.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversations that you have with the fund managers offline, what they
Mm-hmm.
tell you off screen is educational. And then try to put everything I'm learning
Mm-hmm.
and put it all into content. And it is difficult because I'll say, you know, a synthetic and sometimes it's a 1256 contract that has mark to market. And it's stuff like that is a complicated conversation to have.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's articles written about it, fund managers are talking to you about it. Uh, David from ISBG tells you
Mm-hmm.
about the heartbeat trade and literally describes it. That was the first time I learned about the heartbeat trade a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite a year and a half ago, like 16 months ago, right? Uh, but no fund manager would actually say it on a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
They would not say it in the video,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the IRS doesn't like it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Nobody wants to discuss this, but I learned about it. I can talk about it because I'm not a fund manager. And then, these guys, and it's not like it's bad. I mean, Vanguard is probably the one that does it the most,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not bad. It's just the tax efficiencies of what you can do with inside of an ETF
Yes.
using a market maker, right? And it's little things that people say during the interviews. It's recognized revenue. And I try to
Mm-hmm.
just explain this today is just because you sell an option, let's say you sell an option on Bitcoin, right?
Mm-hmm.
You sell it on IBIT, right? And it's going to expire. Well, they don't have to recognize the revenue. They can literally give it back to the market maker and get new ones
Yep.
and not recognize the revenue. You and I can't do that.
Yeah.
They can.
They can.
And that's the difference between us and them and why they can make return of capital and make it efficient as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And we as retail investors, we don't deal with market makers. That's not our
Mm-hmm.
job, right? We don't do flex options. We don't do well, some people do index options, but they can't
Mm-hmm.
turn it back into a market maker. And that's the difference. So you learn this stuff over time, but trying to explain to somebody this that hasn't sat down
Mm-hmm.
with a fund manager and literally had, had drinks with them or, a dinner with them, you just don't
Yeah.
know this stuff, right? And that's uh,
Definitely.
I think that segment us into the next subject is yeah, we got to go to New York together. That's the first time we met each other.
Yeah. And it was a blast. I mean, it was at that point peak YieldMax everything, right? All the YieldMax videos were taking off. Anything that you talked about with Misty or Ulti would get you 10 to 20,000 views within a week or two. And
Mhm.
thus a lot more content was made on it. I made more. I did. It blew me away how Ulti was functioning. I talked about Ulti a lot more than I talked about Misty because it was
I never
a
talked about Alti.
I talked about it as a weekly pair because so the thing is
Uh,
I bought Ulti before it was weekly.
mm,
Because I knew it was going weekly. And I had at the time I did a thing where I purchased every single weekly dividend ETF and I made videos on them all the time. And it was easy because there was only about 30 or 40 at the time. Now there's 150, so I don't do that anymore because there's just way too many, and
Yeah.
they're all more than half of them are YieldMax at this point. I don't want to talk about just YieldMax. So, but I was blown away by Ulti and the way that it worked and how it was working in that market. And the funny thing is, when Ulti shifted and started falling like crazy, I was still making a lot of content on it. I was just saying, this does not look good. They need to fix this. Something's happening within the, the management strategies, the market shifting. And I always got like hate on. It's so funny. You get both ends of the spectrum. I got hate for posting about Ulti because it wasn't doing well, and I got hate for bashing Ulti because it wasn't doing well. So no matter what you do, you're going to end up getting some hate. But the important thing is we're talking to these managers about this. But specifically with the YieldMax event, it was really fun. There was there going there, and I'm curious, Brad, what you think, because when I went, I knew what I was there for. I was there to make content about YieldMax to make them more money, right? They flew us out. No, they didn't fly us out. They paid for the
They did
hotel.
not.
They did not fly us
They
out. They
fly
paid.
you out because they didn't fly
No,
me
I wish
out.
they flew me out. No, we paid quite a bit on the flights. I took my wife, and it was a really good time. They did. They were. It was a blast being in New York. But I realized I spoke with the fund managers after their first interview back on after the YieldMax event, and they told me that their AUM went up so much after that event, so much, to where they had made so much money off of having us all there. But I knew this, right? I I would say I've always been a little bit more business minded, right? I know that they're not taking us out there for no reason. They're getting an ROI. They want their money back for what they're paying to have us there. There was one creator, a couple creators who were living it up, pretending like we were the most important. You can even go back and look at the actual bell ringing ceremony, the actual closing of the stock market. And there's a content creator at the very front. And it cracks me up because it's not our fund. It has nothing really to do with us. Let's be honest. We make content on it. We don't control the management. We don't, and so it's so funny to me that a content creator would push all the way to the front with like the CIO, CEO, and so that kind of blew my mind. But we start pretending like we're celebrities and we're not, because they treat us like celebrities, right? I mean, they paid for meals, they had all these giveaway bags and stuff like that, and it's fun. But you have to remember they're making more money by having us there through what we're creating and whatnot. And we meet each other. Like, yeah, we met. I met Bad Financial Decisions. I met Amy in New
Mhm.
York. I met a bunch of really amazing creators in New York, and some that are so. But we'll leave them out.
Yeah, yeah, and that gets us into we got to meet again, at a different event, and that's where we started this whole relationship of, hey, let's do a podcast together. So it's really helped us on the YouTube. But let's face it, things are changing. Times are changing. I mean, I made a deal with Neos, somebody
Hmm.
that one, I cover their calls every single month. I
Hmm.
cover mid-month. Actually, I covered their calls today in my live stream. They are the largest equity portion of my portfolio,
Yeah, I
right?
also, yeah, we've been talking about this. I have a deal with Neos that's in the works right now too. I haven't posted anything about it yet. They're my largest holdings. They okay, I should say for my income portion, because I do have
Yes.
some that just sits.
Mhm.
I don't always, the only reason they're not larger is because I haven't been reinvesting the dividends specifically back into the funds immediately. I'm now formatting a different strategy where I buy it on dips, which has been really fun actually, kind of trying to.
But yeah, I had that rule of 3.5% below my cost basis,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Trying to get it at a lower price. In certain ones, like QQQY is still above my cost basis,
Yeah. Yeah,
right? So you sit
definitely.
back and go, what do I do with that revenue? Do I average it down? Do I not? So it's but as content creators, that's the best part is, at least for me. I know you did it a little bit different. Troy had no clue what my questions were. And you
Yeah.
can tell during the video that I was making questions up as we went,
Mhm.
right? And you know, they do now that it's a sponsored video. I don't think people realize this. So I have a certain thing I have to say at the beginning.
Mhm.
They also now have a thing a certain thing I have to say at the end.
Mhm.
So they hit both ends of the spectrum.
Are covered.
Com
Yep.
Compliance has to watch it before we even post it,
Mhm.
right? So it's I mean, I didn't think people realize the steps, but at the same time, it's gonna make up the difference in my lost revenue.
Mhm. Oh, definitely, and that's one thing because I posted Neos is not my first ad deal. I've done quite a few. I'm very picky with what I do. Over since I probably hit 3,000 subscribers, I have been getting probably an ad deal request a week, if not more. Now these weeks I usually get between 2 and 3. Um, 90% of them are absolutely awful, i.e., crypto brokerages, anything scam
What's that?
related that just
What
broke
what
my
what was
mind.
that new one that just came out? TOOO? Man, that one's relentless.
Yes, I get them from some yeah, I get them for TikTok as well. I get them all over the place, and I've seen it's kind of funny. I've said no, and then I've seen them pop up on other channels and other, Instagram pages, and I'm like, oops, like, shouldn't have done that. You should not have posted that."
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
there's sketchy stuff out there.
I'll just it's TROO. It
I have not
is
heard
the
from them.
yeah, yeah, they've been relentless about doing a deal, and I'm like, "There's no way,
Yeah.
no way that I could talk about this."
Yep. I
Right?
actually I can't remember which brokerage it was, Brad, but it cracks me up. I had one brokerage reach out and everything checked out and I was like, "Okay, good." I dug a little deeper. I found out they had rebranded because the initial stage of the business, you could put your money into the brokerage and you could not take it out. About half it had about 1.5 stars on Yelp or one of the review websites and everyone said I can't get my money out. So that's the thing. You're literally pushing certain things to your audience and you have to be careful. So I only do things that one, either I hold or I think that I would hold. Because there are some like I've done some with different crypto ETPs and whatnot that I don't hold at this time, but I do think that they are a vessel for investors to use crypto through their brokerage.
Nah, so I didn't even okay, so there's a certain YouTuber out there, and I noticed that he's now changed his brokerage account again,
Yep.
and what gets me is he has a link to a brokerage firm in his comments that he doesn't even use and that he's never used.
Yep.
I'm going to say all the links. We'll just go all the links that I use: Seeking Alpha, Stock Analysis, right? Snowball. One, I paid for Snowball
Mhm.
personally before even signing a deal with them. It's not
Mhm.
even a deal; it's an affiliate, right? I Seeking Alpha. I was a Seeking Alpha member,
Mhm.
paid Seeking Alpha member before becoming an affiliate.
Mhm.
All right. And stock analysis, same thing. All right. So these were things that I personally use.
Yep.
Uh, we both have Walmart stores, right? I don't know if you've released that yet.
No, I haven't talked about it, but I'm
Yeah.
not hiding it by any means. Yeah, I just finally
Yeah.
had everything go through, started selling for the first time.
Yeah. And it's something that we physically use.
Yes.
And if we're not physically using it, there's no way,
Yep.
you
To
know,
be yes.
no. How do you sign a brand deal on I mean, look at another one, right? It's just like, no,
Yep.
there's no way. This is not a freebie. It's not, and you're part of the chat now on Discord.
Mhm.
I literally shared my email to everybody that's in there, all the content creators. I literally shared the email that I sent to the last person that asked to come on to their channel.
Yep.
And told you exactly how much it was going to cost them to even think about coming onto my channel.
And here's I want to expand on that, Brad, because it's really interesting. So I posted an ad video last week. Um I can't even remember which one it was right now, which is so funny. There are some that I love. I do ad videos for Vista Shares. I enjoyed their funds. I think they're unique and different. Some were
Yeah,
good, some were bad, and I'm happy saying that. Oh, um, it was Rex. I have a video. I have a deal with Rex Shares that I've been working on,
NVII.
and VII, and I got a comment
Like
that
you didn't
said,
think I watched it.
you remember more than I do at this point. It's been one of those weeks. But I had a comment that said, "Oh, you can't be impartial. You should never do an ad video or be sponsored because you're never impartial." And it's not incorrect. This video, it was right. It was reviewed by Rex on what I can and can't say for compliance. Now I'm still able to talk about the pros and the cons of the fund,
Mhm.
and I'm still the way that I responded to the comment was they give me creativity with what I want to talk about. So I hold this fund. I have NVII. I have a couple of Rex funds. And so I get to talk about the ones that I like. I'm not going to push one that I don't like, one that I'm not going to ever hold or ever consider holding even, because with their single stock ones, I'm not always just going to buy it right away. You know, I have to time it correctly based on the underlying performance. But it's so interesting to me because I view it just as a commercial where I create what I'm going to say. They don't give me, no one gives me a script. We do all of our own writing. No one tells me what to say. That is completely within our creative control. And they
Yeah.
just have to say it's accurate information, what you're saying. And so that's like an important part of it too. But I also, it made me laugh too because AdSense, I mean, I've never said just what I'll straight up get paid from AdSense. But I live in California. So I get taxed out the wazoo on this stuff. So it is insane the amount of money that I lose in taxes. And what AdSense has fallen exponentially. I'm making roughly, I'll just say it, I make roughly $1,000, sometimes $1,200 a month off of just YouTube AdSense. So if I did no deals, no affiliates, that's how much. I work 30 to 40 hours a week on YouTube. So if you break down my hourly pay versus the time that we're putting into YouTube, I mean, what am I making? $8 an hour or something like that, which again is still amazing. It's still a hobby. I'm not complaining about that, but that's why I have leaned more into the advertisement space. And I think it's a really good idea for creators because it enables us to be more, I can invest more money for the channel. I can do more things for the channel. I can track more. I can, it opens up a lot of creativity for me.
You can pay for more stuff, right? Because
Exactly.
I pay for certain things, and then I take that information that I'm getting and I
Mhm.
make it into content. And if
100%. And we don't
I
really talk about our costs. I mean, my month, I'm spending hundreds of dollars a month maintaining the
yes.
channel through editing softwares, thumbnail softwares, through, all these different tools that we use, that kind of thing. So it does tie in, but you have to be careful because people will just end up selling out. There's one creator who literally every other video is an ad video now, nonstop ad videos. And it's like, it doesn't even feel like a creator anymore. It feels like you're literally watching commercials nonstop. And if
Yeah.
it relates to you, good. But it's just that kind of blows me away. I never want to get to that point where I'm doing 2 or 3 videos that are sponsored a week. Like that is way too much. In my that's just my opinion though.
Yeah, but then, I guess I could talk about Neos every day.
See, that's the hard part with Neo sponsoring is I'm like, I I, I would
Yeah.
make like Neos is helping us, and we're even in talks with another thing with the podcast and with our channels about another issue or about a sponsorship, where sometimes they just sponsor us because they want to pay us for what we do. Um,
Yeah, because we both had that individual fund manager on
yes,
countless times.
yes, I think I'm on 5 or 4 or 5, something like that. Yeah,
I'm probably like 10, right? Let's face it. I was the only, and I'll give it away. I was the only content creator that went to his ringing.
yes. In
All
my
right.
defense, I was getting married the next day.
You could have brought it along.
He actually
Yeah.
said, "If you wanna try me," I was like, no, he said no. He was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be,
But
it's gonna be
that's
crazy."
a perfect one. I paid the whole entire way. They bought a meal, which I'm grateful for. It was an expensive meal, top of it, but everything was my expense. But you got to learn so much by going there,
Mhm,
right? I mean, I got another one coming up that I'm going to go with Kurv
mhm.
up to Chicago. I bought my airplane ticket. It's my cost,
Yep,
which I get to write off as a part of the business,
of course,
but
yes.
Yeah, my ad revenue this month barely covered the airplane ticket.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what blows me away is yeah, because I mean, it's just because I live in California, so the taxes are terrible, but it's just it's tough. There's some crazy benefits to it, but it is also difficult. So that's why I mean, we'll wrap back into the topic. That's why we do ads. That's why I've
Yeah.
done ads for over a year now because it helps. It makes the time more worth it and, I have no kids right now. We're planning, we want a family eventually. I'm not going to be able to put 30 or 40 hours into this forever. So I want to make it as good as I can now. Um, and then
Yeah,
hopefully just
and
maintain.
I think we should circle back to the YouTuber thing and content creators. One thing to be extra careful about
Mhm.
is I notice a content creator has changed the channel's name,
Mhm.
as far as I know, and it's probably even more than this, 4 separate times.
Yep.
I can see once you're rebranding yourself. I get
Yep.
that,
Mhm.
right? But 4 times? That's and that's like 4 times in the last 18 months.
Yep.
So you sit back and go, there's an issue here. There's a clear issue if you're doing it that many times, changing your name.
Yep.
There's a clear issue that maybe you're trying to, I don't know. It's just to me, it's weird. I mean, my X handle is the same,
Mhm.
although it's reversed because somebody already owned the one the other way. Right? So you're trying to brand something. How
Mhm.
do you go around changing your name so much? Right? I mean, that's and digging into it. It's not like the first time, and you go back over the last 7 years, 10 years that he's been out on YouTube, and it's just like, oh my
Yep.
gosh, you, you really have been
Yeah.
around way too many times because there's other YouTube channels talking about the guy, and it's just like, ooh, that's scary, and and that gets into investing. That's why you have to be careful. I
You
mean,
have to be careful. Yeah.
I show my portfolio, and one thing I don't do is I don't show the actual dollar amount, and I didn't think people realize it. So the SEC can come down on you very hard
Hmm.
to actually sharing percentages because then
Interesting.
somebody can copy your portfolio,
Interesting.
right? That's like one of those, "Don't believe me." Use Go chat GPT it,
Yeah.
right? And that's why I don't show percentages. I share in my circle group, right? But we share a lot of things in a circle group. Like
Mhm.
I bought YQQQ the other day. They all knew. I talked about it this morning.
Yep.
They all knew about it a week ago,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Because I'm just cautious that the market's going to go down.
Yeah. Definitely. And it goes to show you too, a lot of creators are in this to make money, and
Yes,
it's a lot of people's dreams. I would love to do this full time. I would. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point. If
you
I
will.
do, amazing. If I don't,
You,
that's fine.
you 50% of your income will come from your income investments.
And the
And
rest go right.
right?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be the dream, right? I get to make
Yeah.
content all day. It would be awesome. But you can't let that mindset take over. I have to make as much money as possible. And that's what a lot of these people do. And we talked about it. We've talked about this multiple times in New York at the YieldMax event. I heard two creators talking about, oh, how much one guy went around asking, how much do you charge for coaching calls where you tell people what to invest in? And I was like, I don't do
None.
that. That's
So
insane.
I've done calls like that before, but
Hmm.
it's not to tell people what to invest in.
Hmm.
It's just, here's the charts, here's how to read the charts, here's how to go find things, right? It's educational. It's not, here's investment advice, because that's where you get yourself in trouble,
In real
right?
trouble, and I've seen that
Yeah,
there's one YouTube. I mean, I found one channel that it made me so angry, Brad, because this person was charging
$500.
$500 for 45 minutes. A 45-minute personalized call. What can you even learn about someone's investment strategy in 45 minutes? You have no idea what their income
Or
is, what their life goals. You can't do that for $500. You'd be
yeah.
significant. There's no instance in where you're better off doing that than just putting that money into the Nasdaq, into the S&P, into the Russell, and letting it sit. Let's be real. Like there's no
No,
way.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, so when you get with me, it's just like, we'll talk. If somebody wants to talk about a particular fund, we'll go look at a chart together,
Mhm.
right? And say, okay, what's this chart telling you? I mean, because not everybody. Let's face it, not everybody, especially older, goes out onto the internet, looks at the charts. I mean, come on, sometimes these people have a hard time even getting on a Teams call.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's but, for me, a Teams call, Riverside, StreamYard, that's like everyday occurrence of what my old job was.
Mhm.
Like, I would be on a Teams call at least every day. It My Teams experience, my inside person that because I was outside, right?
Mhm.
I was always traveling. So the inside person, I would never even call them anymore. We
Mhm.
would use Teams and do instant Teams calls while I'm driving,
Yep.
right? I would just hit Teams, and people were amazed because she would Teams me,
Mhm.
and then I would call that person that had the question. They go, "That was quick." I said, "She you were on the phone, and she was Teams meeting me while you're on the phone with her."
Yep.
So when she hung up the Teams with me, I'm calling you back to give you the answer because unfortunately she can approve everything, but the answer actually has to come from me because the paperwork. I had to do the
Yeah.
paperwork side of the fence, right?
Yeah.
And, even in my old job, there was politics,
Politics. Yep.
right? So you just sit back, and that's why I look at these brand deals and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to get rich, but I'm also knowing the cost, right, of actually doing YouTube because there is a cost.
And that's the thing is, and that's where we've all kind of took a stand where we're not just going to be having any issuer on that asks to come on the channel. And
Mhm.
I know you're getting all those emails all the time now too, and you get people saying, "Oh, have this person on." It has nothing to do with my content. And so
And I
that's the
started a
frustrating
second
part.
channel. I started
Yeah.
a second channel that I'm pushing all the fund managers to,
Mhm.
besides the couple that I like. So I get because I get to it's my channel, I get to choose,
You get
right?
to do what you want. Yep.
Right? I like a
Yep.
couple, I'll bring them on, everybody else gets and you know what? Even the one on the podcast, they got as many views on the podcast channel that I started
Mhm.
than if they were on my main channel.
Yeah, and we are, I think we're kind of done providing just free advertising for these funds. They need to pay for our time because it yes, we get paid for AdSense, but I mean, if I have a video with a fund manager on that gets 5,000 views, I might make $30, and it's $30 for about 10 hours of work. And so that's the thing is, I hope people do believe that we should be compensated for the work that we're putting in rather than just us pushing all of these different issuers and getting them views and information out about them for free, because they have multi-million dollars and I have a
Now, my Circle community wants to know about a certain fund,
Mhm.
so I will actually research and do something on the fund that they want to talk about,
Yeah.
but they're my community, right? So if somebody wants me to talk about a fund, I will take the comments in my YouTube videos
Mhm.
and put them into a bucket list. But
Mhm.
they're so far down the list. If somebody says, because they got into these auto callables,
Yep.
that was all from my Circle group. Somebody in Circle group wanted to know about, so I literally reached out to that fund manager
Mhm.
on the behalf of my Circle group to have them come onto the channel to discuss this.
I have a video dropping today on the auto-callables.
Something you did yourself, or did you have the fund manager on?
I did it myself, but it's actually a sponsored video. But we
Also,
can
it's
talk.
rec shares.
Mm-mm.
No?
Simplify. Yeah, Simplify.
Simplify. I
Yeah.
I hate to say that. I don't know.
No, we'll talk
S-
about it. It's really
it-
interesting. We'll talk off
It's a,
off
so
the recording because
I don't know. I'm willing to talk about it on screen, right?
no, the
I
funds
mean,
are they have the oldest auto-callable funds. They created I don't know if they necessarily created auto-callables, but they don't call them that. They call them barrier funds. Yeah, so
difference between technically there's a difference between a barrier fund and an auto callable.
interesting.
Kinda depends
Yeah.
on. Was there options trades in it?
The way that they oh man, it's a full breakdown. It was amazing because working with Simplified, they gave me so much information and
Hmm.
they're really smart. They have a full YouTube channel breaking down how they work. But no, I believe there are options within it, and they have two. They have S bar and they have XV. And so S bar always does a 30% barrier, and XV targets 15%. So their barrier will shift. XV is riskier because it might be a 20% barrier, a 18% barrier, and vice versa. But no, I had to refilm the entire video because it was choppy. I didn't know what I was talking about, and then they gave me a bunch of insights into it. And
Yeah, they're good guys. They're not.
definitely
I
very
think that
knowledgeable.
I think the problem of it is, and I said this earlier, is I don't invest in anything that has future contracts.
Yeah, and yeah,
All
that's
right.
the tough part. There are some cons. The way the fund works, it's interesting. Yeah, but we'll have to talk about it a
Yeah, I
different
mean,
time.
and
There's so many
RecShares
little
is
details. Yeah, and the
RecShares
performance.
just came out with their auto callable,
Yeah,
and
did
it's
they? I hadn't even heard about
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
knew Granite
A
shares.
Granite Shares has it on the single stocks.
Yep,
Rex Shares has it. I do believe it's the S&P 500, and it's very similar to the other one, Calamos. But theirs is
Calamos. Yeah,
Calamos is weekly. Rex Shares is a daily auto callable, and
interesting.
the difference of it is once it hits what they call the barrier,
Mhm.
they stop paying you the coupon.
Mhm.
But with Calamos, if it stays below the barrier, which is 40% on their S&P version,
Yeah.
if it stays below 40% at the end of 5 years, you'll lose that capital.
Interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
So on Rex shares at 40%, they stop paying the coupon,
Mhm.
but you don't lose your capital.
Interesting.
You lose your capital at 50%,
Mhm.
at an additional 10% lower than when they stop paying the coupon.
Very interesting. And I mean, I like the idea of auto callables to diversify away from just holding all covered call
Yeah,
ETF.
I fully agree with that.
Yeah, it's cool.
It, I think it's a different avenue, right, of
Mhm.
investing. But I want to stick to my rule. And somebody called me out on my live stream today about future because they said XBCI and BTCI can hold futures contracts, and
Mhm.
my comment was is they don't. You can
Yeah,
look at the holdings, and
they don't.
if they ever do, I will sell them
Yeah.
because Brad will not hold a futures contract. That's just one of my call it pet peeves. I don't care what you
Yeah.
call it. I'm just not going to do it because, and it's the same thing. I think the auto callables are interesting. It's just something that I'm not going to get into.
Mhm. I gotta see a little more time with them, but, um,
Yeah, and I actually think the one from Rex shares might be actually safer than
mm,
Calamos, and it pays about the same percentage. So
which is impressive. Yeah.
you just sit back and go, right? But it comes back to that expense ratio. I do not know
Mhm.
the differences in expense ratio. Maybe it's a little more expensive. I don't know, but it really shows you the diversity. I just had somebody come on, a fund manager. I haven't posted a video yet,
Mhm.
but he told me that almost all the mutual funds out there will eventually have an ETF version.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Makes sense. It's the
Because
direction we're going in.
Jeppy has a mutual fund version.
I think I did know that.
Jeppy X,
Yeah.
JEPI. X is the mutual fund, and it has like 1 year's more data.
Interesting.
It's been out a year longer than the ETF version. And there was a new I looked at the ETF, what they filed for.
Mhm.
There's some closed end funds
Mm.
because
Oh, yeah.
I don't do closed end funds,
Mhm.
right? Uh, but there's closed end funds that I know of that just issued to have it into an ETF.
Oh, man, there's so many options and so much content to be made, and I wanna just, yeah, wrap us back into this. I think the main takeaway from this video, you cannot trust everything that you see YouTubers talk about. You cannot trust every YouTuber. I would
Well,
say
wait a second. They can trust me. They can't trust you.
they can trust us, Brad. They
Well,
can trust
I
us.
want to say they shouldn't even trust us. They should
Always
hear
always research on your own, definitely.
hear us, but verify. Because
100%. That's a
because
great way
I
of
know
putting it.
that I can't always be right.
Me neither. And but the thing is we will admit when we're wrong. That's the thing.
And if somebody wants to come on, and here's if somebody wants to come on my channel and talk about why I'm wrong,
Let's do it.
I, always available
Yes.
because maybe I can learn something.
And that's what I feel too, Brad. And I being in the early, I shouldn't say early, being in closer to the beginning of my investment journey, I am looking to learn as much as I can. Right.
Mhm.
It's one of the reasons I love partnering with you on the podcast because you have a lot of information. You're very you're intelligent all around. But when it comes to stocks, when it comes to options, you know a lot of this stuff. And I this is not my first podcast. And there's a reason that you and I work so well together is because you know these things, you hold the funds. I am so done. I'm not having anyone on my channel that talks about funds that they don't hold and that make content specifically on income investing and they don't income invest. They have zero income positions. Why would you ever watch a video? And I saw a video. This income investor who has no income funds, portfolio is public, ranking income issuers, ranking Tap Alpha and Neos and Curve, and I'm like,
Well, I know who you're talking about. I
ranking
saw
on
the
what? You don't own any of the funds. You have no idea. Like how
I s-
so he's looking
and I
at
saw the
charts and seeing total return and going, these are the best because their total return is up right now, which is vastly different than what they would have been 6 months ago. And that bothers me to no end. To no
yeah.
end.
Oh, yeah, if you want to get into this, you just so that particular guy,
Mm-hmm.
total returns. I think there's three good funds out there right now for S&P 500 and the Qs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not J.P. Morgan, but Goldman Sachs,
Yes. Go I always get them confused.
right? Goldman Sachs,
Mm-hmm.
Neos, and
Tap
Tap Alpha,
Alpha. Yep.
right? Everybody else is in second place.
Yeah.
Now, will there be a better fund one day?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as there is, I'll want to cover it, right? But right now, and this, I always call it fishing poles.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my three fishing poles on the two indexes, and
Mm-hmm.
Tap Alpha is coming out with a new one on the Russell,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm just sitting there going, I like the three, and the other one that Tap Alpha's coming out with is the Mag 10.
Oh, love
And
that idea.
the reason it's a Mag 10 because it's going to be a 1256 contract,
Oh,
right? So it still
amazing.
has the tax efficiencies of it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they're following for that, and I kind of I already kind of knew that because I sat with the CB, and that's what I sat with the CBOE guy at
Mm-hmm.
dinner, right, and had conversations with him, and you learn so much.
Yep.
And I've learned that certain things I didn't fully understand, because somebody got into call spreads and they said, well, when it's in the middle, and it's like, yeah, if you're managing it, guess what? These fund managers don't manage it and they wait for it to close. So when they're going like this, going, yeah, we do this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't do that. Come on. I mean, we were at New York together
Mm-hmm.
with the traders, and you're
Yes.
sitting there going, wait a second. It's Mark is still open.
Yep.
How are you managing those
How
call
are they
spreads?
doing this?
Right?
Exactly.
Are you doing it from your phone? How are you doing this call spread
Yep.
since you're standing here with me? Right? So you know that they're not doing it, and that's where you get into that. Mm. And then, but there's a lot of interesting funds. There's a
Mhm.
bunch of new ones coming out, some that we need to be a little more careful with.
Definitely.
And I think, you get into the weekly payers. My problem with weekly payers is it forces you into one type of options trade.
Mhm. And they've been underperforming the weeklies as a whole. I
Yeah,
mean,
it, it,
they
it
were
bec-
great in 20, some were amazing in 2025, but we've seen this pullback and we're seeing for the first time how a lot of them hold up and it hasn't been great.
so Howard from Curve brought this up
Mhm.
that on his silver fund, he's writing options every 2 weeks
Mhm.
instead of every on a weekly. So if you're a silver fund doing weekly call options, he's getting more premium.
Yep.
So he's going to do better than you
Mhm.
long term because he's getting more premium writing him at 2 weeks. So forcing yourself into a weekly, unfortunately,
Mhm.
m- you might be hurting yourself because this bi-weekly call might be better.
And that's why Neos does monthly. Neos, from what I've talked
Seven
with,
7 weeks out, and then they roll 3 weeks prior. Come on, that's not right.
but they, when I've spoken with them, they have no interest in weekly. And that's what I
Mm.
think is interesting. Is they're not interested in just the hype of weekly distributions. Maybe eventually they'll come up with a structure that will work in the weekly format. But
Well, they changed. So the boosted funds pay in
mhm,
week one.
yes,
They did that.
they staggered them. Yes.
The only thing that I get feedback on is all the high yield stuff or higher
Mhm.
yield is all in the same week, week three, where it
Yeah.
wouldn't have been nice to have SPY I 1 week, QQQI in another week.
Another. Yeah.
That was the only feedback that I heard. That
Hmm.
was like, well, you kind of still put them all together,
Yep.
but I mean, they're trying. They did something. They at least heard us because I
Yeah.
brought it up to Troy before
Yeah.
that it needed a big weekly, and that's there's that Global X one that's going to pay on SPY and 13 on the Qs, and they're doing
Hmm.
them weekly, but you're forcing it, and that's what I'm screaming, going, you're forcing weekly calls,
Yeah. And we'll have
right?
to do a full video on these because we could talk for so long on weekly versus monthly. But let's
Mhm.
wrap up. We're going over the 50-minute mark, which is, I mean, when you love talking about this stuff, time flies so quickly.
It does. And you can
But
edit out any time that I get ready. But
no,
yeah, I mean,
I
it
always
is.
like leaving it. I don't like doing the
I
maybe
don't.
we'll see.
I
But
don't do a whole lot of editing either. I mean,
yeah, it's just
I
nice
like
to,
bring the fund manager in, I take the fund manager out, bring him
yeah.
back in. But beyond that,
Uh,
it's just like, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's all about what you're trying to achieve
what you're, yep,
out of
100%.
your funds. And if you want weekly, you want weekly. I'm
Mhm.
just sitting there going, weekly forces the fund managers maybe not to do the best
It
options
may not be,
available.
yeah. And there are some structures with leverage I can see weekly being better, in some instances, not necessarily better, but equal, but paying weekly over monthly. But yeah,
But
we'll have to do it.
let's take the Tap Alpha,
Yeah.
right? They're paying weekly, but what did he do? He used swaps to
Mhm.
match the total returns of the other funds,
Yep.
and then he
And
didn't pay for the first month.
yep.
So he basically took what he got paid and then distributes it over the 4 weeks. So
Yep.
come on, Cy. He played a game, which is totally okay, in
Mhm.
my opinion, because he's not paying out of the NAV,
Yes, which is key. No nav
right?
erosion.
And we'll just throw it out. So ISBG, they're paying at 19%,
Mhm.
but what he's doing is sometimes he'll pay out of the NAV,
Yeah.
right? And that's because he has been very diligent of we are not going to get ourselves trapped into writing 0 DTEs,
Yep.
weeklies or bi-weeklies. He goes, we're going to just average it out over time because we know how much premium we're bringing in,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more averaging out over time and he's not overpaying. I thought he was going to pay higher,
Yeah.
but he's like, no, I'm not going to pay higher. I'm averaging out over time.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes, some days it's 0 DTEs. Other
Yeah.
days it's 2-day options or 3-day options.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not trapping himself. And so he goes, sometimes it'll be a monthly option.
Mm-hmm.
We know the premium for the monthly option gets us more premium bang for the buck
Mm-hmm.
than doing a shorter dated call. So it's like he's not trapping himself
Mm-hmm.
into a certain strategy, which is something that you really have to listen to what these guys. And that's why I have them on because
Mm-hmm.
you know like my FEPI, my very first FEPI video, I did not. I did FEPI and AIPI, and people like, oh, I like AIPI because they're doing more staggered or laddered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, come to find out, if you tracked it enough over a long enough period of time, they both do it,
Hmm. Interesting.
right? The trouble of it is as a content creator, you go download the holdings and you show the holdings as of this day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's the same thing with the Seeking Alpha people.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and beat them because I'm on Seeking Alpha, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody said something. I'm like, dude, if you're not, or if you're talking about a NEOS fund, and you want to know how much they actually made on premiums,
Mm-hmm.
you have to download the sheet last day of the month, and you have to download the sheet the first day of the month,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can see the delta.
Yep.
If you're not doing that, you're guessing. That's just a guess.
Exactly.
Right? You're looking at a total returns chart and wondering what they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, all right.
Well, awesome.
Hey, awesome.
Episode 9 in the
You
books.
you can keep in that I just pulled my earplug out, but awesome episode. Always great to talk with you, Spencer.
Always fun, Brad. Always fun. We'll keep them coming.
All right.
All
What are we
right.
talking about next week? Can you give me a hint so I don't figure it out like the night before?
What do you? I'm open to suggestions. Let's do some from the comments. Let's see. Comment on
Any
this video what you want
comment
us.
down below.
Yep. If you've made it this far, yeah, comment. Let us know, and we'll touch on a topic that viewers want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll and I'll actually do research. If you comment, Spencer sends it to me. We'll do some research.
We'll get it going. But as
All
always,
right.
yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like the video and to subscribe. Helps us out a ton, and we'll see you in the next video.